Time to put away those stocking stuffers and that Christmas tree. John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, because we've got a Jingle Bell heist to plan. Thank you, Netflix, for this movie. This is Jingle Bell Heist, one of those random Christmas movies that we get every year from the factory where they make Christmas movies. Has anybody ever actually stopped to think like how many of these we get across all of these streaming services and cable channels? It's like, my God. Uh, my God. It feels like my 4-year consideration period, except Christmas. Just like an onslaught of Christmas movies. Um, I gotta do a couple every year. We gotta talk. It's the reason for the season. So Jingle Bell Heist has audio description done by International Digital Center, written by Betty Capone, and it stars Olivia Holt. Lucy Punch is also in this. I did not recognize the guy's name, and I find it impossible to memorize his name when I don't know anything he's been in before. So, at least Olivia Holt, I was like, the name's familiar. Why is it? Oh, Hard Eyes. Okay, she was in Hard Eyes. And Peter Serafinowicz. I know he's been in some things before, but so Jingle Bell Heist, is it worth your time? Is this one of the few Christmas movies that you should stop and hoedown for? Oh, the jokes are never going to get any better, but you should still like and subscribe. So we follow a young American girl in England, played by Olivia Holt, who is working kind of a crappy job, but we find out the whole reason she's here is because her mom is sick and they moved back to the UK. Her mom is British because she has like a full-blown British accent. This isn't like a movie where like Americans snuck over to UK for universal health care. But I guess somebody who wrote this was like, by the way, we want to point out there are problems with universal health care. So this is one of those movies that's like, if you've been wanting, universal. So her mom needs like a treatment, but the way that their healthcare system in the UK works is that there's like a waiting line for it. So for her to go through the government, she'll die by the time she gets to it. But because the waiting line is too long, does that mean people are slow? I don't know what that means. Like, is there a waiting line for everything? Like, oh, you broke your foot. Well, we have 943 of those ahead of you, so back of the line. I would think that they would rate them in order of like survivability and like a whole different, but anyway, I don't understand your system, man. So the only way she can get the help for her mom that she needs is to go private so she can pay for it and jump the line, because that's a great system to set up, is to remind people that if you have the money, you can still jump the line. Cool. You're doing a great job in the UK. just just killing the game over there. So it's Christmas time. She works for this Sterling company. I don't know, they do some sort of store. They have like a store and business. I don't know. And she ends up getting caught by one guy who's trying to survey systems or whatever, and for taking some money out of the Lost and Found. Like, she takes something into Lost and Found, and in there's a purse with some extra cash, so she has a little bit of extra cash for herself because she's like struggling. And it's Lost and Found. Like, if nobody comes back for it, like, it's either just going to sit there or I don't know what they're going to do with it. So it all depends on the company. I mean, there's no legal requirement for people to do anything with Lost and Found items. So It's like, okay, well, she's taking money that's been sitting lost and found. Ooh, what a smooth criminal we have here. Um, so, yeah, she ends up getting spotted by this guy who's going to be like the male lead for I forget his name. He was so unmemorable, but he's fine. Like, I know sometimes with us Americans, we just swoon when we hear the British accent. I honestly think that's half the reason why the Beatles even exist. They were just like, oh my god, British people, talk to me. But yeah, so he does this nice little British voice because it's a British movie, and actually Olivia Holt is the only person in the movie without a British accent. But so he's got a past where he was in jail for a little while for robbing this company, and she thinks that he wants to get back into it and rob it again. So they want to team up because she needs some money, and he's having some issues where he's staying with like a friend, and his ex-wife has pretty much had it with him, and so he wants to be able to see his daughter. And his whole life is a mess, basically. And so it's all about them planning to get into this safe that they know is in Mr. Sterling's office, uh, and through, you know, a whole bunch of like exposition of reasons why they know that information. And then the movie's just going to be like a whole bunch of things about them getting there eventually. And what do they do with it, and how do they get out of it, and do they get caught, and are they going to celebrate Christmas? Is her mom going to get the medical treatment she needs? Is he ever going to get to see his kid again? All those kind of things. It's actually not, it doesn't follow the same beats as those like Hallmark-esque movies that we have, where they all feel like they're shot on like the same set in some weird like snow globe small town. This actually feels like a legitimate movie that just happens to be themed at Christmas time with actors you're not really surprised to see in a Christmas movie. You know, like this isn't full of major stars, but it could have been. But it's not. It's okay. I appreciated the movie for some twists that come in the third act that I don't want to reveal, because there are actually some. It felt pretty basic to me for a little while, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, by the way," and I was like, "Oh, well, that makes the film interesting. Oh ho ho, that makes the film more interesting." And then, oh ho ho ho, that made the film great. No, not really, but I just wanted to get that three ho ho ho's in there. I don't want to spoil it because you might see the movie, but yeah, there are some interesting twists. There's one specifically involving Olivia Holt that sort of is like at the last minute that they don't really telegraph to you at all. That I was kind of like, oh wow, that's quite a twist there. Look at you with your Shyamalan twist inside of a inside of a Netflix Christmas movie. Um, so yeah, uh, it's fine. I think what's funny is if I had to talk about like one negative thing that has a slight spoiler to it, one of the things you find out relatively early in the movie is that he didn't really steal anything, and so his goal has been to try to, um, I don't know, either prove his innocence or get back at the Sterlings, because he believes that Sterling used him as a scapegoat because he installed some security equipment, and then after he installed it, something went missing, and supposedly it was like his security codes were used. So he pled out. So he has this charge that makes it look like he's a robber, but he's really not. And it cost him his like marriage and 2 years of not seeing his daughter. And now it puts him in this like awkward position with his ex-wife slash daughter, and everybody thinks he's a thief, but he's really not. So my only hot thought with that was once it's revealed that this is his truth, his wife doesn't actually get her shit together and come back because the film needs him to end up with Olivia Holt, which, you know, uh, what are we? There's one ending where this is like, oh my god, this is exactly what we needed, but there are occasionally movies where the leads don't have to end up together, and I think this would probably have been one of them. If it had been me, I probably would have strengthened the relationship between him and his ex so that that way they could get back together and everything could be fixed when Olivia Holt cleared her name, and that maybe Olivia Holt doesn't need a man. You know, maybe that's. I mean, she got into this because she was trying to find health care for her mom, not a boyfriend. So maybe they really are just partners in this whole thing. And if you really needed her to have a love interest, he does have a roommate who's basically useless, but they could have changed that character around to make him less like, some dude who just sits on the couch and plays Xbox all day long. Just basically what it seems like he does. Uh, I mean, there are ways, but I was kind of sitting there thinking because they have this lovely group family thing, and it's like everybody but his ex-wife, and I'm like, okay. Maybe not the happiest of endings, all things considered, considering he was convicted of something he didn't do, which is what crumbled his marriage, because she thought he was a thief, but he's not. And apparently she's incapable of, I don't know, apologizing? I have no idea. The movie does not want to go there. The movie just needs these two to be together. So it follows the typical Christmas trope right into that brick wall. There are some much more interesting twists than that that I'm not telling you. But yeah, that was kind of the one that kind of made me go, I don't know about this. Audio description wise, considering this is a narrator, a writer that I actually really like. I was kind of surprised. I like Betty's writing. There are times where we slip into, okay, so here's my take on it. Betty, or International Digital Center, or I don't know I forgot the narrator's name. So there's a scene that we have with Olivia Holt where she goes to the guy's place and he's staying there and with this like roommate, and then the ex-wife is there with the kid, and so it creates like kind of a cluster of conversation. um and it appears that mommy and daddy leave the room so they can have a conversation through paper thin walls. I'm not really sure where Olivia Holt was in this whole thing, but she's like there because she apologizes like after the fact for having interrupted or caused any sort of problems. But they leave the little girl with the roommate, the dorky roommate. She's sitting on the couch and she's kind of cute. They say something about like bro cave, and she's like, I like your bro cave. But they have these moments where it's the sound editing cuts so that it's clearly like we've left the parents having the conversation and someone's listening in, but I don't know who. Because it could be Olivia Holt, but it also could be the daughter. Like, who's hearing it? So I wasn't really sure, considering it seemed like there were multiple possibilities. So I questioned that scene, and I didn't think that scene worked in the way that it was described. So I don't have like a long-standing problem with like the entire script, but there was this scene, and it made me think maybe it's not IDC. Maybe it's some other random company that I'm about to find out, like, oh, congratulations on getting an 80 gig for once. No, it was the International Digital Center, which usually hits home run after home run. This is like a third base, you know. I mean, we've done worse all the time. Like there's audio description that strikes out, doesn't even get on base. So, yeah, I mean, you made it to third. It's just I'm used to IDC always getting the home run or grand slam, you know, just like yeah. So, uh, that was the biggest thought that I had on that was not really knowing who was listening in, who was eavesdropping, because I wasn't sure where everybody was. Um, but it's just a Netflix movie that no one's going to watch next year or the year after that or the year after that or the year after that. These movies have very short shelf lives. If they don't explode in sort of like the Christmas Chronicles type way where they end up getting a sequel, no one will come back for it. Like, I think there are probably Netflix Christmas movies from 5 years ago that people probably can't remember, like that they even watched. Like, I saw one with Freddie Prinze Jr. Do you remember that Freddie Prinze Jr. did one not like a few years ago on Netflix? If you do, what was it about? Like, um, so yeah. The movie though, it's not like my favorite, but I was kind of a little bit intrigued by some of the choices that they made later on, some of the twists, some of the directions that they go with. And I like the payoff. There's some clever writing here. It's just not the whole thing. There's not a totality here. Um, so I appreciate that. And the guy who, the interchangeable British guy, he was fine, but he was literally an interchangeable British guy who could have been anybody. I'm surprised we didn't get somebody a little bit more up to Olivia Holt's speed in terms of, because she's not really big enough to carry a movie either. She's just like that girl who was in some Disney stuff back in the day, and you're really hoping that people remember that. So I'm gonna give Jingle Bell Heist. I'm gonna give it like a 6.1 out of 10. I'm gonna go fresh because I did think the twists that they had towards the end were really creative, and I liked how they used them too. There's one specific one with Olivia Holt that comes near the end of the movie that not only did I like the reveal of it, but I liked how they used it. So, because they could have used it in the most like obvious and sort of overdone way, but they kind of use it in a little bit of a creative way, which I appreciated. So it does kind of come out of nowhere though. I mean, my God. So if you like out of nowhere twist, this felt like it wasn't telegraphed very well at all. It was just like surprise. Um that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.